Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Combo here. Today I'm bringing you guys some more Black Ops 2 gameplay on the Wii U, and I'll be using the Sega 12 or the S12 here on Express. I do hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. It's a pretty nice one, and I hope it's entertaining. So today, guys, I wanted to talk about something a little bit different, something that caught my interest in the news, and that's kind of rare because to me, local news and all that kind of stuff is just stupid. I don't even waste my time watching it, but this story actually was pretty interesting to me, and you guys may or may not have heard of it, but the Curiosity rover, the rover that just landed on Mars in 2012, actually found liquid water on the surface of Mars, kind of, mixed together, bound together with other minerals in the surface layer, like of some dust and all that kind of stuff. And I just wanted to kind of talk about this topic and kind of just, it was very interesting to me. I just wanted to put it out here and talk about it. I've done a few commentaries in the past talking about like space and all that kind of stuff, but to me the space is just completely like intriguing to me. I love everything about space. It's really awesome to me, at least. I find it very interesting. But so every news story that I kind of hear about our solar system or the universe in general, some new theories or new things we find out and discover about the universe, it's all pretty interesting news to me. So I wanted to share it with you guys. You may or may not find it interesting, but maybe just stick around, listen to it. You may learn a thing or two. So pretty much, like I said, the Curiosity rover, which is a rover they sent to Mars to kind of explore, kind of look around, dig up a little bit of stuff and kind of sort through it, analyze it and all that kind of stuff, actually found water the other day on Mars, and they've come back to report some pretty interesting stuff. But one thing I've always kind of wondered is if I will be able to see someone land on Mars in my lifetime. We landed on the moon, but obviously I wasn't born then. So I've always wanted to see somebody like go to Mars. I hope to live to see humans expand out to another planet and all that kind of stuff. And it's a huge challenge for humanity and like mankind, but I think it could possibly happen in my lifetime. That's just something I always wanted to see. But it's just like, it's kind of curious to me. Like, obviously now with the United States and all that kind of stuff being in so much debt, there's not really that much money for NASA. They like cut funding and all that kind of stuff, so NASA's kind of taking the back seat, and there's not really enough money to kind of fund things anymore. But there definitely still is things that they do, like this rover and all that kind of stuff. But it's interesting to me that we never went back to the moon after our first initial landing, at least put a man on the moon again. I'm not sure why. I guess it's just the money and priority. I guess is other things are more important according to some main people. But I actually wanted to be an astronaut for the largest part of my life, like up until recently, because I am now officially too tall to become an astronaut. You have to be between, I think it's like 60 inches or 61, 62 inches and 75 inches, which is 6'3". And I am 6'3", and probably will continue to grow a little bit more. So if I ever like try to be an astronaut, it just wouldn't work out because I'm too tall for NASA's requirements. So maybe they would change that in the future. That's just something interesting to me. So I kind of had to drop the dream of being an astronaut. But that's just kind of how that goes. But I won't be the guy landing on Mars, unfortunately. That would have been awesome, but like I said earlier, I hope to see someone does. But let's get back to the story here, I guess you could say. The water that was found on the surface of Mars is actually 2 pints per cubic foot, which is actually a lot. It's like a couple of bottles of water. The article linked in the description that I'm reading it from says it's actually a couple of bottles of water, which is pretty good per cubic foot. That's pretty much, that's a lot of water right there. But right now it's like bound to other materials and all that kind of stuff, so it's not just like a puddle of water. It's more like mixed in with rocks and bound to other chemicals and materials and all that kind of stuff. So what they're doing is they're analyzing it with the rover because it has some pretty high-tech analytic stuff, but they're also finding some other chemicals and gases and all that kind of stuff bound with it. And it's kind of really helpful because now that there is water, we know that we can go to Mars, and we know that there is water that we can access, but it will take a lot of effort because along with the water and all that in the surface layer, there's also chemicals that are toxic to humans. So at the same time that we're kind of like extracting the water or whatever the process would be to get the water for us to drink and be able to survive on Mars if we do go and build some kind of base or something like that in the future, we would have to take into consideration that there is some like toxic chemicals and all that kind of stuff. But now that we know that there's water on the surface, there's definitely a bigger chance, I guess, of humans expanding out to there. Obviously right now Mars' atmosphere is way too different than ours for us to be able to survive in it. We probably would have to change it or build some type of dome kind of thing to keep us warmer, because If we go out there, it's just it wouldn't work out, just put it that way. But the atmosphere can be changed. I actually was watching this interesting show that they were showing how we could actually go about changing the atmosphere of Mars to make it become warmer. And I found it interesting because it's kind of the same thing that we're doing here on Earth, but unintentionally, I guess you could say. But if we would go on Mars and kind of pollute the atmosphere in terms of like CO2 and things that just, you know, put more gas in the atmosphere, more CO2 and greenhouse gases, that we could actually heat up the planet and make it habitable for humans. It would obviously take a lot of time to do that, and a lot of resources as well. They would probably have to send at least like a few hundred of these robots that just release, you know, greenhouse gases into Mars's atmosphere for years at a time, in order for it to start changing. But I just found it interesting, like global warming here on Earth would actually help us to make Mars habitable in the future. I think that's all pretty interesting to me. I think definitely Mars was habitable at one point, maybe many millions of years ago. Maybe there was even life on it or something like that, but I definitely think that Mars was once a habitable planet, and I think that we could possibly make it habitable again in the future, because scientists already know that there was water, liquid water running on the surface at one point. They have discovered like dry riverbeds and ponds, and all that's obviously dried out now, and Mars does have pretty big ice caps that take up a large part of the planet. But I think it's just going to be interesting to see like what humans do with planets in the future. It's far down the line, but when humans start leaving Earth, you know, how are we going to stay together? How are we going to, if we do stay together, how are we going to communicate? How are we going to, you know, keep peaceful? And if we do expand to other planets and all that kind of stuff, what kind of new conflicts will we have with resources and wars? I just thought it was pretty interesting. This commentary was all over the place. I do apologize for that, but thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all later. Have a good day, guys. Peace.